fortune bought me a hell of a lot to lose. Alright.
Evening there. You looking for a sermon or just a chat? Don't really matter, frankly. First thing I ever learned behind the pulpit is that every homily is just a conversation. Ain't as one-sided as you might think either. Preachers ain't shepherds, they're cowboys. They gotta run with the flock, keep them directed without fencing them in. So how about you take a seat and guide us somewhere? You know any story that brings a person hope? Something I can tell to my congregation? Are you sure you ain't the preacher here? That was a good one. We all got faith. Every day we stride out into the world. That's faith. Faith that our time alive is limited and that we must act during our hours and minutes on earth. Faith that what we do matters at all. We all got faith, see? It's just a matter of whether or not we got belief. You must have seen some pretty wild stuff on the road. What's the most exciting thing you've seen? I swear I ain't heard a story good as that in a long minute. The past? My earliest memories of my mother and father teasing each other, laughing about something I didn't quite understand. Putting on voices, playing games. This was back before she passed. Hey, do you have any spooky campfire tales? Feels appropriate out here, right? That's how it is, huh? Well, maybe you. Sadness? No. Preacher, we have to be sad. Folks like me can't. Anyway, tell me a tragic story. God's cruel sometimes, ain't it? Choice? Doing right? Well, it's a struggle for all of us, sure, and I do my part to help. But the golden rule ain't only about the fire and the brimstone. It's about facing your neighbor, looking them in the eye, and being judged. If you can look the neighbor you wounded in the eye and say, I don't care what I did to you, that's when you really, truly are a damn soul. I see a lot of damn souls these days. Know any funny stories? I need to take my mind off things. Oh, that's funny. Might not share it with my congregation, though. Travel? Oh, I travel. Moving's in my blood. Pops traveled all over the rest. And even after I stepped out on my own, I kept moving. I've been everywhere. Chicago, New York, Atlanta, Houston, Los Angeles. Paris. I even been to Paris. I've been everywhere. Chicago, New York, Atlanta, Houston, Los Angeles. Paris. Well, I gotta get moving on. I have a sermon to give in the morning, and the church is a long night of walking that way. Walk like you're blessed, child, because even if you ain't, that's the only way you'll find your holy self.
But you ain't gonna hear me crying, 'cause I got that soul sucker blues.
The woman finds you as you wander the streets. "Come with me, child," she says, looking you up and down. "We're going to church." You follow her to a simple clapboard building. There's no steeple, but a cross is painted on one side. Inside, after a rousing sermon, you're treated to a meal and given a worn but clean set of clothes. Works and not faith alone might be the motto of this.
You get that soul sucker blues.
You pass a meadow where migrants have made a campsite. It's been trampled to pieces. A few families are fleeing, running as fast as they can back up to the roadside. An enormous bull stretches himself beside some of their squashed supplies. The bull locks an eye with you and blinks long and slow. The closest thing to a cow threat you've seen in your life. You leave him as spoils.
Now I got a crater in my chest. This hole ain't gonna heal, and the sting of guitar strings is about the only thing I feel. And if there was second chances, I don't know which way I would choose. Yeah, the thing about down is I need this soul sucker blues. soul. That current gonna take firm hold of me. That water gonna make me whole. Going down to the river, gonna cleanse my soul. Won't heed temptation, I just walk on by.
A bus roars up on the road behind you, then slows to a crawl at your side. Inside, you can barely see people moving, dancing, swaying. Strings of lights, strange smoke.
Want a ride?
The driver calls. Before you can open your mouth, a huge hairy hand like an animal's paw lands heavy on her shoulder. "Not this one," a voice growls, so deep it vibrates your rib cage. The driver shrugs, leaves you in a cloud of perfumed exhaust.
Whoa, when they try to throw a wall, we gon' tear it down. Yeah, they try to throw a wall up, we gon' tear it down. We gonna drive the hurting hearted out with a wild and righteous sound. When they try to throw a wall up, ooh, we gonna tear it down. Yeah, when they try to throw a wall up, we gonna tear it down.
Here's a derelict school building, shutters nailed shut, wind-drifted dunes piled against the walls, broken desks lined up in the basketball court. While you rest on the front porch, he's an older man, tidy and unshaven, carrying a toolbox in one hand and brandishing a broom in the other. "Don't squat here," he growls. He gives you a hard look, but relents and joins you in the shade. "I used to teach here," he says, staring off across the baseball diamond. "Now they just pay me to keep the roof up." First, shrill and close. Then you see him, high up above the black streaks of wires. A lineman, fraying belt holding him to the pole. A damned bird has come to perch on a power line, stare hungrily at the man's soul. He's unsteady. His hands are shaky, and his body sways in the wind. You spot his tool bag next to the pole, worn and frayed, much like the man. A half-gone bottle of cheap rye pokes out of it. What's he gonna do? Come down from the pole? You snatch it from his bag in one quick motion and walk away. "Hey!" he starts, but whatever he's about to say slips into a slurred whine as his belt snaps. His body plummets, and his limbs go slack with the understanding of what is happening to him. He tumbles into the tall, dry grass by the side of the road with a muffled noise. All you hear is the call of the whippoorwill, eager, loud, thankful.
Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. 'Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. This will be my tale, my vagrant song.
Come across a girl picking wild blueberries. She smiles and greets you. Anin. She offers you some from her birch. You reach in the basket for blueberries, but pull out a handful of small, smooth stones, all the colors of the rainbow. The stones tumble from your hand and hit the ground, instantly turning black as the night. Your heart leaps in surprise. How strange.
Well, I'm gonna scrawl my name on the bare bones of the earth. I'm gonna dig my heels into the ground. 'Cause when that ferryman comes for to tally up my worth, I won't leave much to find that can be found.
Two brothers stroll up to you in the street, wearing identical scowls and identical steel-toed boots. One spits in front of you. There's no shelter to find on the road, and the night is cold and windy.
My weary back, I'm gonna keep lacerates tucked in my soul. 'Cause when my coals burn low and my trains run out of track, won't be no one else to dig my hole. Well, I got no companion except the wind and the sea. And when I'm cold and empty, they're the ones who'll bury me. Well, I'm gonna cast my stones o'er the waters of this land, and by I'll see them far and long. When the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. Yeah, this will be my tale, my vagrant song.
met a lot of people like you on this road. There's something you want from it, isn't there? A desire that scratches and scrapes away at the sides of your body. Does being out here feed that part of you? It's that way for me, living in a state of motion, resting nowhere, returning to no one. I've been a wandering ghost for a while now, and I'll be that way for some time to come. But that's a fate I should have known I was in for. I'm a poet. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. You know any stories like that? The tragedy in that story, it's real. I know sadness. These days, I start to think, well, my old friends have a happiness, Silas too, and good for them. It'd be wrong to be alone out here. I spend too much. That's a good one. We do reach up like that towards change. Seen a lot of change. Everything. Our friend Pauline, she had a big house. We were wild, radiant. All kinds of people came and all of them were each. It's so hard to believe that's all gone now. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with That one was like getting locked out in the cold with nothing but your sorrow. I like choice. That's hard. You believe you know what's right and what's wrong? A lot of people do. And I have to say, did someone tell them and they believed it? When things got rough, would they stick to those ideas? Even the strongest of us can shrivel away in the face of the world. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that rests. The tragedy in that story, it's real. Have you ever, the past haunts me. Every day I think there was a time when it felt like silence. Now, I don't know how to describe. Imagine that, a poet, the one thing I thought I could do. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with. That one was like getting locked out in the cold with nothing but your travel. Well, I've wandered for a long time, but I only feel I walk and walk and never get anywhere, never solve anything. I'm not even sure what I'm looking for any longer. If I'd known things were going to end up this way, maybe I wouldn't have fancied my. Don't worry about me though. Worry about taking care. I miss the old group. I really do. But on top of them, in my memory, you ever meet someone so far above? That was him. Silas was part of the group, but at the same time, we all held him in respect. I still love him. Look, I'm headed out this way. If you find yourself out there, maybe we'll meet again.
I won't leave.
Where are you headed now? I'm thinking about getting out to the coast again. I want to get to Frisco and gaze upon the Pacific Ocean like in days past. Contemplation of water is an ancient healing practice, you know? The vastness of the sea makes the personal wounds we suffer seem small in comparison. That's a theory, anyway. Silas told me that once. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. You know? That one was like getting locked out in the cold. You have a lot to be sad about? Come and join. Or, even it takes a special kind of writing poetry won't make your sadness go away. But, at least, sometimes I want to hear a sadness that the tragedy in that story, it's real. Have you ever... They were my family. It wasn't. There was something stronger that bound. It was a sense of belonging to each other. We were going to show... Silas said once that we were bodhisattvas, born into this world to help people. It was a nice thing to say, but I had my suspicions then. Now, do you know any stories that will make me laugh? Oh, I like that one. Very, maybe, in some other lifetime, some other place, I'm happy. Maybe in those places, I'm here. I feel so ignored, so discardable. Like I'm consigned to being a perpetual stranger, wiped from the face of the world, as if I'd never exist alone out here. I spin. I like that one. Makes me feel the way Silas used to in the old days. Trust. Well, people confuse states of mind. You can talk of rebuilding trust, but it's never quite the same once broke. I used to have this belief in our immortality through our art, our words. Silly of me. Go ahead and tell me. I'm ridiculous. I need an optimistic story. That's a good one. We do reach up like that, towards hope, fortune. Pauline once told me, how thankful should I be for that? She said it was hard on. Somehow that didn't help, and I got upset with, still feel betrayed by her. I suppose after a while I'll start to realize how little I can change and accept myself. Exiled to a little island of really just a sad little bum. That sounds about right. I've gone on long enough. Next, I'm traveling out this way. Keep an eye out for me if you find yourself over there.